How are you tonight? Start of a holiday week. That's always a good thing, right? I mean, well, the days you have to work before you get to the holiday, not as good. But once we get to the holiday, awesome. Right around the corner it is. And tonight, we're going to break some Stadium Club baseball, speaking of what's right around the corner. And before we do that, we've got a little information to go over. So I'm going to go ahead and get that up on the screen. So basically, feedback is up there just because I get asked that question a lot. And it works like this. Anytime you leave positive feedback for me, you're going to instantly get positive feedback in return. I know, right? The wonders of automation. Fantastic. So that little tidbit there, just to keep you informed. And then the more important thing, of course, is to say thank you. I appreciate everyone who bids, breaks, chats, hangs out with me, and all that kind of stuff. We are next going to take a look at what is coming up here in the days ahead. So, we've got a lot of stuff happening, but it's kind of we've been in a little bit of a 1 or 2 break per night format for a while, so it makes it look like it's quiet, but we're still keeping pretty busy. So tomorrow night, we're going to open a 5-box case of TriStar Game Day Greats autographed football jerseys, as well as an 8-box case of Topps Finest Baseball, which is the last of the Finest Baseball that I have for the year. On Tuesday night, we will open a full case of Chronicles Basketball. Wednesday night, we'll find us digging into another half case of Stadium Club Baseball. It will be the first half of a new case. Thursday night, which of course is our holiday, July the 4th, we'll be taking that night off. No breaks on the 4th. But we'll be back at it on Friday the 5th with another case of Elite Football. So that's what the days ahead look like. And for tonight, here's what you need to know. So guys, I'm anticipating this to ship on Friday. Now, I know that sounds really far out. It kind of is, right? But of course, there is no mail service on Thursday, pickup or delivery, which would have been your normal projected date. So if I can manage to get it out to you on Wednesday instead, I will happily do so. But because I'm not confident I can do that, we're going to leave it projected for Friday. And if I can get it sooner, of course, I will. Once again, remember, no mail pickup or delivery on Thursday the 4th. Everybody's going to pull cards in here, so we don't need to worry about consolation cards. We can buzz right on past that. This is an 8-box half case of 2019 Stadium Club Baseball. It is break number 2. It is the back half of a case that we started, I think Thursday night is when we started it, actually. And of course, this ended tonight on eBay, Sunday night, the 30th of June. We're breaking it the same night that it ended. I started to say that it opened, that it ended. We'll try that again. And your format here, of course, is team names on one side. Your eBay user ID is up in lights across from your team on the opposite side. And we've got somebody in here, RS New York 3001, has got a lot of teams in here. I mean, a lot, like probably a third of the teams. So RS New York, hey, this is almost like a personal box break for you, isn't it? Not entirely, but you do have a healthy amount of teams. Thank you for picking those up. Always appreciated. Again, for everyone who bids and breaks with me, I appreciate you. I'm trying to get the focus set manually there, and I made a bit of a mess of it. I do know the background is out of focus, but don't worry about that, guys. That's actually on purpose. That's so we can see our cards up nice and close. And I got to get all of our boxes over here, and maybe we'll just do it like that and situated. Of course, these are already out of the case because we started the case the other night. These are the 8 remaining boxes. We've already opened our earlier boxes. See, that's why I was trying to set them up. They don't fit, but anyway, they'll be fine. All right, so we're looking for 2 on-card autographs per box in here. There are going to be, of course, some parallels and some inserts and other things along the way. In the first box, I do tend to go through that stuff a little bit slower just so that everyone can kind of get their feet wet in case you haven't opened the product before or you're not really sure what you're looking for. And then in subsequent boxes, we generally go a little bit faster through that. New to Stadium Club this year is our box loader. These are nice big oversized cards, occasionally autographed, as we found out in the first half of the case when we pulled a nice Ichiro autographed box loader to 5, numbered to 5 no less. It was a pretty awesome hit. And the first one we see tonight heads to the Cardinals. That is Matt Carpenter. These things are, guys, about 5 by 7, somewhere in that neighborhood. I mean, I haven't measured it, but it's roughly 5 by 7. And of course, most of the variations in here are by color. So we're going to find some that are black variations. We'll find probably a fair amount of those, a fair amount of red ones. Orange are more rare. We don't find a lot of orange variations. And gold. We don't find a lot of gold either, but occasionally we might run across one of those. And the way you can tell, it's this lettering right there. See, so how it's silver on a card that is not a parallel, and on something that is, that lettering might be, again, blue or red or orange or gold or whatever the case might be. So, just to give you a little heads up about how that works. There are lots of different inserts in here, and we'll kind of, again, in the first box, I'll call them out as we see them go by the first time, and then after that, you'll kind of just know what you're looking for there for the most part. We should also find a chrome variation. For the most part, I think there's one per box, generally speaking, and it's just the same kind of card design, but with a chrome finish. So that gives you an idea of what we're talking about. Warp Speed, that is a base insert. Again, if the lettering itself is different colors, not the colors surrounding it, but the actual letters themselves, that denotes that we have a variation. Like this, for instance, that Adrian Beltre for the Rangers, you'll notice, is black. The majority of those are not numbered. The variation is quite literally the difference in color. So I'll probably, generally speaking, I'll just call it out as like black, red, blue, whatever. You'll know what we're doing there. A Power Zone insert. We'll find plenty of those throughout the break tonight, as well as Emperors of the Zone. That particular one is Andy Pettit, but there'll be plenty of those to go around as well. Hi, Kirk. How are you, sir? Did you have a good weekend? Did you have a good day today? Matsui for the Yankees, red parallel. Our first autograph comes out for the Orioles, and that is Ortiz for Baltimore. So we still have, of course, one more autograph that we will find in here before we finish up tonight. There's a red Matt Harvey for the Angels. Our chrome is Mr. Joey Votto for my Cincinnati Reds, who somehow managed to hang on today and beat the Cubs. I say somehow because, my Reds have a habit of getting themselves in winning position only to turn around and do something stupid and lose. Corey Kluber and the Indians. We've had a few games like that this year, but today wasn't one of them. Today we managed to hang in there and beat the Cubbies. So, Cincinnati Reds, how about it? Kirk says it's been hot where he is. Oh, I sympathize. It has been quite warm here as well, but I will take the heat over the cold any day. Another, just a base insert that we will find quite a bit. It's called Beam Team, B-E-A-M, Beam Team, and we'll find loads of those as we go along. Generally, probably not parallels, but occasionally we might find one that is a parallel. We'll probably hear some fireworks later. My neighbors started doing fireworks a couple days ago. Castillo and the Reds in red. And they generally will carry on through the 4th and usually for another 2 or 3 days after as well. Calhoun for the Angels, red. Our second autograph out of box number 1 happens to be Francisco Arcia. And Francisco Arcia comes out for the Angels with a fantastic photograph, man. How awesome is that? I kind of love that. That's the fun, though, of this product, really. Roger Maris Black, Yankees. And hey, here's our Instavision, which those are case hits. We did not find it, obviously, in the first half of the case. So here it is in the back half. And it is Ichiro for the Mariners. So we had the Ichiro box topper signed out of the first half of the case, and then out of the back half of the case, we find our Instavision card. Hi, Staying Lover. First autograph was Orioles. Ortiz, maybe? I wouldn't absolutely swear to the name, but it was Orioles for sure. That much I do know. That much is correct. There's a Chris Sale red beam team. And of course, this morning, if you got up early enough, depending on what side of the country, it was either 10 a.m. for you or 7 a.m. if you were on the West Coast. We had our second Yankees-Red Sox game in London. It wasn't quite the 17-13 slugfest that the Saturday's game was, game one in that series, but man, they still racked up some runs in the second game as well. Pretty high scoring affair on both days, and both days fairly, we'll open this end, fairly long games as well. All right, box topper here, Mr. Mike Trout for the Angels. A little bit of a bad corner down there, lower right, and some little white I see on the edges on the left as well. So as per the norm, those don't always come out minty mint and perfect, but you know, still nice to have them. Little bonus is always fun. Tomorrow starts Wimbledon. I don't know if any of you are also tennis fans. I am. I like my tennis along with all my other sports, and I always look forward to Wimbledon, but the time change can be just bleh. I think the early matches tomorrow are like 6 a.m. Eastern or something. It's like, oh man. Of course, they don't usually put the marquee names in that early. They're usually a little bit later in the day, but nonetheless, it's always fun to watch Wimbledon. If you like tennis, I guess. Not if you don't. And then, of course, the big news of the day, free agency in the NBA. Didi Gregorius, Yankees, red, and our first autograph out. And it is... Who is that? Oh, Williams, a student. I can't say his name. His name is Williams for the Twins. I cannot say his last name. I know that does not shock you, but yeah. So that's our first autograph out of the second box. So, of course, NBA free agency, Ryan O'Hearn and the Royals, red. That is Justice Sheffield for the Mariners in our chrome variation. Basically, they could start talking tonight, and then they can finalize it all at the end of the week. So Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and DeAndre Jordan all going to the Nets. The Brooklyn Nets pulled that off. That is some crazy stuff. And, of course, Kemba Walker going to the Celtics, which we had already heard the other day was coming down the pike. But what we did not know is that the Knicks are sending off... no, it's not the Knicks. It's the Celtics. The Celtics are sending a point guard back down as well. That kid that played in Louisville, Terry Rozier, he's going to go down to Charlotte. So Charlotte's... Kemba's going up to Boston, and Boston is sending him back down. Johnny Bench for the Cincinnati Reds, black. So at least, you know, the Hornets, I mean, obviously, it's a bit of a downgrade, I guess. It's not like Terry Rozier is exactly the same quality of player that you have in Kemba Walker, but he's young and he's good and he's been getting better each year. So, I mean, I think he fits in with their core pretty nicely. And Lourdes Gurriel Jr., I thought it is numbered. I was like, I thought that should be numbered. It is. It is numbered to 25 for Lourdes Gurriel and the Blue Jays. And that's just kind of dipping the toe in the water of the stuff that's already been announced for the NBA. It's going to be a crazy bunch of changes. Hank Aaron for the Braves, red. There's Lou Gehrig and the Yankees, black. But you have to think, Kevin Durant, this is Cedric Mullins for the Orioles, it's red, is getting a 4-year contract. I think it was like $140 million or something over 4 years. And they give him that knowing that year one, pretty much all of next season, he's not even going to be on the court. Bryce Harper to 50 for the Phillies on a Beam Team insert. Because, you know, he's got the Achilles injury. So he's got a rehab from that, which by all accounts will probably take him about a year. David Fletcher, Angels, red. And then you still don't know if he's even going to come back as good as he was, but boy, they spent the money to get him. And then, of course, adding DeAndre Jordan and Kyrie Irving to that mix, all of a sudden, the Brooklyn Nets are sitting in a pretty good spot, aren't they? I mean, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It is hard to, I mean, of course, you know, we all knew they were going after these guys. Max Scherzer for the Nationals. And they've spent a lot of time creating enough cap space to offer 2 max deals. But to actually get it to come to fruition, well, that can be a little dicier, as we all know. Patrick Wisdom is our autograph for the Texas Rangers. I mean, think about the Knicks and all the moves they have made, hoping to get somebody big in free agency, and then, whoops, oh yeah, you got nobody. You got nobody at all. Stanglover says $70 million a year for 2 players is not really pulling anything off. And one of them just blew out his Achilles, just saying. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I hear you. I hear you. I mean, the fact of the matter is Durant was going to get his same money that he was not going to. The injury, it's like it didn't even happen. It did not touch his market value in the least. And I guess nobody really expected it to. But, man, I mean, you really have to have some faith that he's going to come back from that injury. I guess even if he doesn't come back 100%, they figure his 80% is better than somebody else's 100, I guess. Rizzo and the Cubbies. Hi, Richard. You are quite welcome, sir, for the Rangers autograph. Happy to find one for you. Of course, baseball is going to be a little different this year. There's just going to be the one, got the one trade deadline, so things are a little different in MLB. And then I guess it is next year, I think the roster changes take effect, right? That doesn't happen this year. I think that's next year, where they're going to kind of get rid of the 40-man that you can use building up and keep it to a regular number. Actually, what, 2 more maybe. But anyway, lots of changes coming there too. Kirk, you need, I don't know why some of these packs have cards facing the opposite way. I'm finding it rather annoying. Kirk, you need some Philadelphia Phillies. All right. Let's try to do it. Oh, I just saw a thing flash by that said the Heat got Jimmy Butler. Again, I think we all kind of expected that because he's been hinting that he was going to go Miami. So it looks like that's a done deal. So Jimmy Butler to the Heat, and J.J. Redick leaving the Sixers as well. He's going down to NOLA. Mark Trumbo for the Orioles. I don't even remember the other roster moves or the potential that we heard earlier. Of course, again, none of it can be official until, I think, the 6th, which is, what, Friday, Saturday? I don't know. Somewhere in there is when it can become official. Billy Hamilton and the Royals, red. But it was tonight at 6 p.m. when everybody could start officially discussing it and announcing it and all that sort of stuff. So it's been a crazy few hours. A black and white parallel for Blake Snell and the Rays. Those are not numbered, but they're not super common. And we don't find them real often. And this is Taylor Ward for the Angels. The rest of the all-star teams got announced today. And were you guys surprised that Manny Machado and some of the guys that would normally make it weren't there? Bryce Harper, etc. I mean, some of those guys that you would expect, maybe not named by fans, but you would have thought other players or coaches or something would have voted him in, but they didn't. Corbin Burns, Brewers, red. And an autograph for the White Sox. Hey, that's the big hurt, baby. That is on a chrome variation, which means it is a sticker autograph as opposed to an on-card. But that is Frank Thomas for the White Sox. Nice little hit there for Chicago. Ramon Laureano in the A's. And a chrome Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers. You may notice these are kind of poofy, right? These don't lay flat. They go in all kinds of different directions, and I've yet to quite figure out why. I mean, normally that happens when you have coated cards, refractors and things like that. But these are just the regular Stadium Club cards, but they're, real poofy. Some go one direction, some go another, so obviously a few of them have got to be bowed up a little bit. Cal Ripken and the Orioles. Hopefully by the time you get them, they will have maybe flattened out a little. Brad Keller and the Royals, black. And there's Dustin Pedroia, Red Sox, red. A red Williams, blah, blah, for the Twins. I can't say his name. And the Home Run Derby is looking like it's going to shape up nicely this year too. The last few years it seems like players have to a certain extent kind of shied away from wanting to do it because there's that myth that if you do it then you get injured or it, messes you up, it takes you a while to recover, and I think some players maybe that's been the case, other players it hasn't affected them at all. But at any rate, it seems to be that a lot of players were kind of turning it down as a result. So now they came along, and I guess they've attached a big cash prize to it. And, guess what? A lot more people are interested now. So I think we're going to see Acuna and Yelich and Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Pete Alonso. A lot of our young guys. Jackie Robinson for the Dodgers. And I can't remember who else they've already said, but they've announced a fair amount of the Home Run Derby participants, and it looks like a pretty good group. Should be fun to watch. Of course, that All-Star break not too far away. one Cincinnati Red managed to squeeze in there. I think, aren't they kind of supposed to have one player for every team, kind of, no matter what? like even if they're a reserve or a whatever. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I thought they did. Anyway, Castillo made it on the pitching side for the Reds. So we have one little Cincinnati Red in there. There's Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Blue Jays, red. And we see an autograph out right away. It is Chance Adams. And Chance is, of course, a Yankee. You've got a little bit of a bad lower left corner that I see. Once again, not anything terrible, but just if I notice it, I'm going to call it. I don't always notice them when I'm breaking it live. I try to, but sometimes I miss them. Don't find them till I'm sorting. Ty Cobb black for the Tigers. All right. That's a big long stretch without seeing anything, wasn't it? Like, where'd everything go in that big stretch? A red Ryan Zimmerman for the Nationals. A red Mike Trout for the Angels. A red Urias for the Padres. We have an autograph coming up, and it is a red variation, and you're going to like it. It's Justice Sheffield. Mariners again. So the Mariners, who had a really nice break out of the first half of this case, are continuing to have a nice break out of the second half. I don't know if the same person has them both nights or not. Kyle Tucker red for the Astros. There's our chrome card. Javi Baez for the Cubbies. Swear to you, every time I use Javi Baez in that little game I play on that Topps Bunt app, every time I use Javi Baez in my lineup, the guy just stinks up the joint and just does terribly. And anytime I don't use him, like yesterday, he hits grand slams. I mean, the guy kills me. Patrick Wisdom, Rangers, red. I had a jockey like that. JT Realmuto for the Phillies. His name was Pat Day. And every time I didn't bet Pat Day, Verlander Astros black, he would win. And it wouldn't even matter. High odds, low odds, whatever. Just you could almost guarantee if I didn't bet him, he's going to win and mess me up. And if I did bet him, he was going to be the last horse to cross the finish line. Josh Bell and the Pirates on the black and white variation. So Javi Baez is like Pat Day to me. I can't get it right with that guy. I use him and he plays terribly. I don't use him and he plays great. What are you going to do? So we're at our halfway point. We have opened 4 boxes. We have 4 boxes remaining. That counts the one, of course, that's coming out of the wrappers right now. So doing reasonably well on time, all things considered. Buster Posey and the Giants. Buster might be starting to get his groove back a little bit. I don't know. He's had a lot of injuries. He's old these days for baseball and for a catcher. A lot of wear and tear on your joints playing catcher. And he was, of course, had some surgery and missed a bunch of time and just hadn't quite looked himself since he's been back. And he looks like he might be starting to find his groove a little bit with that, perhaps. But definitely, you know, there'll be a spot there for Joey Bart to inherit when he's ready to inherit it. All right. Let's see what we can find in here. A red Marcell Ozuna for the Cardinals. A Pete Alonso Chrome for the Mets. I do really like Pete Alonso. There's a red Nelson Cruz for the Twins. Maybe we're not going to get any fireworks tonight. Can you imagine if my neighbors are calm tonight? Oh, maybe they went out of town or something. Oh, maybe they'll be gone all week. That'd be nice. I wouldn't have to hear it. Kevin Kramer for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He has a nice, neat little signature. I kind of like his autograph there. That is a black Joey Gallo for the Rangers. Is Joey Gallo in the home run derby? Has he said yes or no yet? Does anybody know? Oh, Nolan Ryan insert. In the Mets game that was on, or well, it's probably still on, but I was watching it earlier while I was working on getting the spreadsheet and stuff together, and they had a little highlight reel of Joey Gallo red for the Rangers. They had a little highlight reel of some of the best World Series catches, like the top 5 or something. It was pretty crazy. Willie Mays was number 1 with it was like hit 400 and, I don't know, 50 feet or something like these days. That'd be out of pretty much any ballpark. This man's pitching tonight, or was. His night might be done by now. That is Noah Syndergaard. A little Thor action for the Mets. Looks like he's got a haircut, too. Yeah, his hair was not nearly as long. I mean, it's under the hat still, but you could tell not nearly as long. McCutchen, a little Cutch for the Phillies. DJ Stewart, Orioles, red. They also had one of the Miracle Mets guys on there tonight, like talking to the people in the broadcast booth during part of the Mets game as well, so that was interesting. Andrew McCutchen, Phillies, black. A red Jeff Bagwell for the Astros. All right, here comes box 6 out of the wrapper right now. Oh, Richard, you like watching Joey Gallo play? Yeah, he's been good. Been good lately. Well, I guess he's probably always been good, but you know, some years, for whatever reason, you tend to notice people more than other years. I guess when they're having particularly good years. But yeah, been some fun to watch. We've got a lot of teams with that have been kind of fun to watch this year. I especially like the ones that are loaded up with the younger players. Francisco Lindor for the Indians. bad lower right corner that I happened to notice offhand there. It's nice to see so many of the young guys having fun, too. I mean, you know, baseball, there's so many of those unwritten rules, you know. If you stare at your home run when you hit it, they're going to bean you with a ball later. And if you do this, it's disrespectful and that's going to happen to you, and etc. So it's kind of nice to see some of the young guys just come up and have fun and not really worry about some of that stuff. But I mean, honestly, if you hit a home run, you should be able to kind of sightsee and, you know, kind of jog a little slowly around there. I'm not saying go around at a crawl and you don't go around, you know, waving your arms and woohooing, but I don't know why they can't just let them enjoy it a little bit. But for sure, if you stare too long, you're going to get beamed by a pitch somewhere down the road. A.J. Pollock and the Dodgers, black. I think I would probably just constantly be getting beamed. Shohei Ohtani and the Angels, red. I mean, if I were good, you know. If I were a guy playing baseball, I was good, and I could hit a lot of home runs out. I mean, I'd probably admire some of them. I would probably be black and blue then from just getting hit all the time. Roy Halladay, red for the Blue Jays. Our autograph here is Miles Straw. Miles comes out for the Astros. He's got unfortunate lower corners, both left and right, a little imperfect. Of course, yesterday, Puig got hit by a ball and just lost his mind. I mean, realistically, the announcer said this too. If he wanted to charge the mound and get to the guy, he could have gotten to the guy. But he didn't really intend to get all the way there. He just wanted to yell and throw a fit. Roy Halladay, black for the Blue Jays, which he did. And then, of course, both benches cleared, and, you know, it just really turned into just a shouting match. And he's over there still standing on first base, like shouting at the guy. Ty Cobb, red for the Tigers. And the thing of it is, I don't even think they intentionally hit him. At least it didn't look to me like it was an intentional hit pitch, but I guess he thought it was. Adam Jones, red for the Diamondbacks. And I guess we've learned you don't mess with Yasiel. Verlander, red for the Astros, and an autograph out for the Orioles. Cedric Mullins. Again, lower corners imperfect. See those little specks of white down there on those bottom corners. But yeah, I don't quite know what to make of Puig. I mean, he's an interesting guy. He definitely can get himself in some spots mentally. Yeah, you know, what are you gonna do with him though? He's on a good day, he's great. On a bad day, whew, look out. Joey Votto, chrome for the Reds. There's a black and white Sean Reed Foley for the Blue Jays. A.J. Pollock, red for the Dodgers, and a chrome Chris Sale for the Red Sox. But you know the bigger question I have about it? How come everybody has to come in? Because, I mean, you're talking the bullpen guys, you know, they got to run in from the outfield. But you know they can't stay in there, because if they stayed back, I guess it would be what somebody would call them. Well, I won't use any of the words that somebody would call them, but they would question their masculinity, perhaps, if they didn't run in there. But you're thinking, why? Why do the poor little relievers have to run all the way from the outfield in there to jump in that big mess? Like, aren't the people right there in the dugout enough for the brawl? You got to bring in your poor pitchers into the mix. Make them run top speed all the way from the bullpen out to the mound and then back out again. Derek Jeter and the Yankees. But, you know, there are a lot of those unwritten rules in baseball. That's one of them, I guess. You know, if somebody charges the mound, by golly, both benches are going to empty. Maybe they should just make it like it is in hockey. You just, you got a problem with the guy, just go up, knock his teeth out, and then go sit in the penalty box for a little while, and then we're all good. I don't know. Seems like it would resolve a lot of things, wouldn't it? Has anybody got the Mets game on? Happen to know what the score is, that Mets-Braves game? Freddie Freeman, red for the Braves. Ken Griffey Jr., Mariners is our chrome card. There's a red Inciarte for the Braves. Somebody tried to jump ship there. That was Wade Boggs for the Red Sox that tried to jump out of the line and onto the pile sooner than he should have. A red Trey Mancini for the Orioles. And behind that, we have a little autograph hit waiting for us for Valdez and the Astros. So the first half of our case, we had a lot of veteran autographs. Alex Bregman, black for the Astros. In the back half of our case, we've got a lot of rookies. Still a vet or two mixed in. Frank Thomas for sure. And our chrome here is for the Braves with Tukey, and it, of course, is a gold chrome. Hey, hey, how about that? There's a red Chris Sale, Red Sox. A red Chris Taylor for the Dodgers. And our autograph is Dean Dietz. Dean is also an Astro. We got a really nasty lower left corner there. I'm sure you can see it, that white on that lower edge. To a lesser degree, a tiny little bit of an issue maybe on lower right, but lower left was definitely the one that was worst on the back of that card. As a black Austin Meadows for the Tampa Bay Rays. I think Austin made the All-Star game as a reserve. I think he did. I've only got a chance to glance at that list, but I believe that is correct. Gary Sanchez, red for the Yankees. A red Javi Baez and the Cubs. And that brings us into last box mojo time. So this is the point where we all collectively focus our mojo. We try to pull up big smoking hits out of this last box and see if we can land something amazing. We're going to try. Of course, after we look through this last box, we will, we'll do a little recapping as well. Man, I hope I'm not getting ready to have the hiccups, but that is what that sounded like, isn't it? It's what it felt like, too. Whew, I hope it's not going to be that. Lou Gehrig and the Yankees. I haven't had the hiccups in ages. Oh, I shouldn't have said that either, right? Let's just bring it on. No. Refocus my thought process. So our next break of Stadium Club, which is in a few days, will actually be the start of a new case, because obviously this finished up the back end of a case, and we may just keep them all at half case. I had thought about switching to a full case at some point, and I wouldn't mind breaking it as a full. That really wouldn't be too terribly bad, but the sorting and shipping all the cards of a full, that would be rather unfortunate, because there's quite a number of cards in here. So, since we are shipping all the cards in these, I guess we will stick with a half. We're going to find one of our autographs right away. We saw Will Clark red go by there for the Giants. And right behind it is our first autograph out of the last box. It's for the Tribe. Adam Cimber and the Indians. A little imperfection down there once again on both your lower corners, more so the right than the left. There's a red Paul DeJong for the Cardinals. Sorry, I got distracted. Sandy Koufax chrome for the Dodgers. There's a red Tommy Pham for the Rays. A red Garrett Cole for the Astros. A red Ichiro for the Mariners, and our second autograph out of this box is Brad Keller. So Kansas City taking home the last autograph that we're going to find out of this case. We may yet find some other variations, though, so let's see what else we can find in the way of that. Warren Spahn for the Braves. And once again, guys, the Milwaukee Braves of old are the Atlanta Braves of today. So that goes to the Atlanta Braves. It is not the Milwaukee Brewers. It's the Atlanta Braves. Trevor Bauer, Indians, chrome variation. Oh, Richard, you said you were in a Stadium Club break earlier that was long and boring. Well, you know, it all depends on how you do it. For me, with these sets that have a lot of base cards, I kind of like to cut a path through them, because most of us probably don't care all that much about the base cards. So with any product I do, I typically go a little slower in the first box just so people know what to look for. Shoop Black for the Twins. And then after that, you know, we kind of like to get off to the races when there are a lot of base cards. Because those are, you know, not all that exciting in most products. Some they are, but most they're not. That is Edgar Martinez for the Mariners, red. So yeah, I do like to keep it moving when I can. Aaron Nola, red for the Phillies. And we have a numbered Acuna. I'm going to set him down and get those last two cards out of my hand. And then we'll take a better look here and see what he has to tell us. Mr. Acuna is numbered to 99 for the Atlanta Braves. All right, so we're going to recap. We're not going to recap all of the stuff that is, red and whatnot, red and black, because, well, we don't need to. There's loads of it, but we are going to recap the stuff that comes out in lesser quantities. Like our Chrome cards, which tend to come out one per box. And this, by the way, I don't even think I said this earlier when I saw it, because I don't know why, but it's orange. So it's a Trevor Bauer orange Chrome. Once again, orange is pretty infrequent. It is numbered to 99, so that's a nice one to see come out for the Indians. Sandy Koufax and the Dodgers, and we have Tukey here for the Braves. That would appear to be the gold parallel in Chrome. Ken Griffey Jr. for the Mariners. Chris Sale for the Red Sox. This obviously not Chrome, but the black and whites don't come out super often either. That is Sean Reed Foley for the Blue Jays. Chrome Joey Votto for the Reds. Pete Alonso for the Mets. The black and white Josh Bell for the Pirates. Javi Baez and the Cubbies. Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers. A black and white Blake Snell for the Rays. Justice Sheffield Mariners, and another Joey Votto for the Reds. So that takes care of our Chrome variations and our black and white variations. The numbered cards, aside from the one that we saw already with the orange Trevor Bauer. Acuna for the Braves, numbered to 99. It was numbered there on the front. And then a Beam Team Bryce Harper for the Phillies, numbered to 50. And it is I guess that's technically an orange variation. It's really hard to tell against that orange background, but I think it's technically orange. And then Gurriel for the Blue Jays. It is numbered to 25. That's a hollow foil variation, or sometimes called rainbow foil. Take your pick. Instavision, our case hit out for the Seattle Mariners. That is Ichiro. It was a good case for the Mariners. First half of the case, and this one's pretty good. Let's take a look at our box loaders. So you had Lou Gehrig here out for the Yankees. Most of these box loaders, minor imperfections on edges and corners. Derek Jeter, also the Yankees. Francisco Lindor comes out for the Cleveland Indians. Buster Posey, San Francisco Giants. A little Jackie Robinson for the Dodgers. Cubbies and Rizzo. The Angels and Mike Trout. And last but not least, it is Matt Carpenter for the Cardinals. So those are all of our box loaders. And our final little bit of recap, the best part, right? The autographs. Brad Keller for the Kansas City Royals, followed by Adam Cimber for the Cleveland Indians. That is Dean Dietz for the Astros. Here's Valdez and the Astros, followed by Mullins for the Orioles, and Straw for the Astros. Mr. Syndergaard, a nice vet hit for the Mets. Kevin Kramer for the Pirates. Justice Sheffield, that is for the Mariners. It's red variation as well. Chance Adams, Yankees. The Big Hurt, Chrome variation. That one is a sticker auto, presumably, because it's on the Chrome variation. Topps has a habit of doing that. So the White Sox with a nice one. Ward for the Angels, followed by Wisdom for the Rangers. And behind that, I can't say this guy's last name. I'm just going to call him Williams. His first name I can say. That's the Twins, the Minnesota Twins. Arcia and the Angels. And the first out tonight was Ortiz for the Baltimore Orioles. All right, so that is the break. That is the recap. I will put up the spreadsheet information here one final time. If you were not tuned in earlier and you missed it, Here comes the information about your anticipated shipping date. We'll also take a look at what's coming in the days ahead. So once again, I am projecting a Friday anticipated shipping date. I know that's a little later than it would normally be, guys, but we've got the holiday on Thursday. So if I can get it out on the way to you ahead of the holiday, of course, you know I will gladly do so. But since I am not confident that I can absolutely do that, I'm going to project it for Friday the 5th. If I can get it done sooner, I will. Please remember there is no mail pickup or delivery on Thursday, July the 4th. So I may print some labels that day. So you may see some things that pop up as having been shipped. But of course, they would actually be picked up the following day on the 5th. What's coming up in the days ahead? Tomorrow night, 5-box case of TriStar Game Day Greats autographed football jerseys, and the last case I have of Topps Finest Baseball. On Tuesday night, we're going to open another case of Chronicles Basketball. Wednesday night, another half case of Stadium Club Baseball. It will be the start of a new case. And on Friday night, we're going to open a 12-box case of Elite Football. All right, so I guess that is kind of got us wrapped up for tonight. So once again, thank you everyone for being here. Always appreciate you spending part of your time with me, bidding and breaking and chatting. If I do not see you again tomorrow night, I hope I do see you again soon. I hope you have a great holiday week ahead, and we'll be back at it tomorrow night. So until then, I'm out of here. Take care all. Bye-bye.